Alright guys, I found this thing on Instagram, and it made me want to throw my phone at my computer screen, and then my computer at my TV screen, and then my TV out the window, into a basketball hoop. It was my most frequent thoughts. These 5 slices, this pie chart. And I want to go through all of these individually, because I used to have these thoughts, and I used to know people who had those thoughts, to the point where they would say them all the time, and it drove me insane. I'm like, I don't know, Sally.
Why don't you fucking look them up on YouTube or something?
And chances are, if you're watching this, maybe you did yourself. So kudos to you. Let's talk about it. Do I have to? Do you know all this patience is a virtue? Patience is golden. Patience, the good things come to those who wait. All of these obligations, all of these things you have to attend to and go to, and it's so exhausting. A lot of teenagers with anxiety and or depression have suicidal thoughts, believe me. I've been there. Maybe not as bad or good as others, but if you have suicidal thoughts, it's so weird to think about why. Like, what, are you like nervous to finish high school? That sounds so nerve-wracking. Oh my gosh, I'm 22. Again, I have been there. Or have you just heard of the shit out there and you're like, why would I want to live in that hellhole? Well, why not? I mean, if you're watching this, chances are you live in America, or you want to. America has some terrible people in it, but it also has so many fucking amazing people in it too.
Believe me, they're out there.
If you can find them, I swear it'll change the way you look at everything forever. But when you look at certain things in a certain way, depending on the way you look at them, it's not always easy to look at other ones and see how doing that might help you. And not even knowing that or acknowledging it, when you have depression, I hate to say, might not make it any better to have. Maybe that's just my experience. I don't know. Now, if you don't want to do this
adult thing
where you get a job and you have to pay bills and you have to get a debit credit card and you have to pay taxes and you have to clean your house and it's all this stupid shit, it's all lame. But do you have to? Why can't you just binge watch Netflix alone all day? Why can't you just go on Reddit and read scary stories and look at memes for Facebook for hours on end? Why can't you just get high and play the newest video game that nobody's gonna give a fuck about in 2 years? Getting a job and paying bills and getting a debit credit card, paying taxes and cleaning the house and the laundry and walking the dog and answering your phone and emails. And I bet some of that was exhausting just to listen to. Believe me, I write these videos out pretty much by the word, and it was exhausting just to try to come up with some of them. But let me tell you something. Most adults are not good adults. A lot of us have no idea what the fuck we're doing. You know what's even crazier? A lot of us don't even know that. Most of us, last time I checked, are thinking similar things. And if we aren't, the things we are thinking about for similar reasons. Most of us really kind of just care about what's in our immediate interest. We are so confused. We ask each other what to do. Sometimes we're so confused we don't even know how. We ask the internet because we have no fucking clue what we're doing. In fact, the government doesn't even really know what they're doing either. Have you seen their conversations with Mark Zuckerberg and the new Google CEO from like 2018? They are so confused the entire time, and they're just like frustrated because of it. Because of technology and a lot of other things, shit is beginning to move so fast that nobody even knows what to do next. It's really sad and kind of stupid, but it's also a little funny to watch, and it's also kind of cool because if you learn what's happening and you move with it, you can kind of use it and take advantage of it to live a better life. That's what I did and am doing. If that weren't true, you wouldn't be able to watch this. A lot of my depression actually had to do with social media and the impact it has had collectively on our brains. I know it's kind of a weird thing to be depressed about, but think of it, some of this stuff wouldn't exist if people weren't getting something out of it other than ego satisfaction. Facebook is a business at the end of the day. It's not just some psychological playground where people cry about things all the time. If it is, I have a video about that coming out in a couple weeks on how to make a crazy positive Facebook feed. And who knows, maybe hate yourself a lot less because of it. I'll drop that link in the description when it's out too. Like, yes, you have to do those things, but you will be glad you did. But I'm 22, in case I haven't already said it 22 times in this video. And I still have no fucking idea how to do taxes. I still don't even have a credit card. I still don't even really know that much about what a credit card is or does. Like, what the fuck is the point? Why can't you just have one card that pays for things? What's interest? Like, I don't know. Why is there car insurance and the license and the registration? Why can't you just have one fucking document where everything... Why does all this shit have to be so complicated? But like, these are the thoughts I'm having. Like, believe me, there's so many people who are older than me who have it less figured out than you. And honestly, by the time you're watching this, if that still worries you, because that's something that a lot of people try to tell kids or teenagers or anyone with anxiety and depression to make them try, kind of consolidate them and make them feel better. So if that still worries you, those people will most likely never tell you some shit like this in 2019. Honestly, by the time you're watching this, there are things coming to the world soon. This world, the one you are watching this on, unless you're watching it on Mars or the moon, but on this planet, they might be here in soon, like 2, 3, 5, 7, 10 years from now. That will do a lot of the shit we're talking about here. They'll do it for you, and you can pay for that. And the things you would, and you won't have to use credit cards or debit cards. Like a couple weeks ago, I saw an advertisement for something called the Apple Card. Apple has a card now. They're competing with banks. There are things coming soon that will probably do a lot of the shit for you, and you can pay for them. And the things you would do otherwise, the things you enjoy, the things you love, you can learn how to use to make money in the meantime. And who the fuck wouldn't want to live a life like that? Why am I like this? Like what? You're worried about all these small things that make you like this? Why stress the small stuff? It's small. Is it small? There has to be bigger things, right? There are people who wake up every day and their concerns are an entire country. Imagine that. Is anyone really born like anything in particular? Maybe this is just me, but okay, here's my experience. It's better now, definitely, and I hope yours is too someday as well. I used to ask myself questions like this, but after a while, it got so exhausting that I stopped one day and I made a decision and I was like, wait, what the fuck am I doing? I stopped asking why, and I started asking if the what is really the what. I was like, am I really this way? Like me? What if I could change it? So I tried, and I didn't try taking any big risks, at least at first, but little by little, step by step, even if I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I felt like I was kind of going in the right direction. And to some extent, I still don't fucking know what I'm doing. But I'm still somehow convinced that I'm going in the right direction. So that's good. Right? I mean, I'm not dying or anything, I think. Also, are you actually like this? Are you really like this? You? I bet that there are things about you that you don't even know, that you may love about yourself. I mean, it can't hurt to learn more about them. Like, what do you have to lose? You're already depressed and anxious. You're already tired of it. If you weren't, I mean, why would you watch this video? When you get out of school especially, if you're gonna go to college, you're probably gonna need money to pay off the loans and stuff. You will always be underpaid. And so many fucking people either never seem to learn this, or they do and never seem to learn about it or how to change it. One of my mentors, Jim Rohn, always says, don't get bitter, get better. But a better way to earn more is to learn more. Did you know the richest people in the world
Love to read?
even the president loves to read? Our president, ours. In 2019, the orange tomato Nazi with the Pringle hair. No president doesn't read. And it doesn't have to be about the bullshit they're teaching you in school either. Most of the shit they teach you in school, if it's not in college especially, if you have shitty teachers, from what I've heard, is just gonna set you up for failure. I mean, if you don't believe that, look at the masses. They're always wrong. When's the last time an entire collective of our whole nation moved in toward one place and it was the right place? Even the most successful people who, by the way, I try to study obsessively, a lot of them who went to college, they will be like,
Yeah, most of it was actually kind of just self-taught.
the third richest man in the world reads 5 hours a day. Bill Gates is obsessed with books. If you're like me though, I know a lot of you are probably thinking this. We don't fucking like reading. I hate reading. So if you don't like reading, there are audio versions of books, audiobooks. I feel like anyone a lot younger than me watching this video is like,
Sam, I know about audiobooks,
I don't know if they have us listen to audiobooks in school. I don't know how shit works nowadays in school, in the high school. It probably still sucks. I empathize with that, I do. A lot of people watch my videos and they're like, you must have been so good. I fucking sucked in school. I hated it so much. I was a straight D student. And if I wasn't, I would try and the harder I tried, the worse my grades were. It was terrible. If people told me about audiobooks when I was depressed, getting out of that shitstorm year in 11th grade would have been 1,000 times easier and faster. I kid you not. But my point here is self-education. And to look at things and be worried about them and say, oh, this is my fault, this is me, I'm like this. Just relax. And I know coming from me, that probably sounds like a fat kid telling you that you're overweight and you need to eat less. But honestly, I'm willing to bet that who you are now is not your best self. Because you don't see that in yourself yet. Like, you can be better than this. You have, at some point, probably been better than this. At some point. Even if you can't, think of that right now. There's a part of you deep down, it's crazy to think about. It's hard to believe, but it's speaking to you every day. You just have to listen for it. And if you listen closely enough, if you listen to what it says, you will never be depressed again.
Sam, that is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
You're right. It might be the dumbest thing I've ever said. But just because it's dumb doesn't mean it's not true. I'm sorry. Does it actually make you feel better to apologize for things? If you have to apologize for everything? Like, if that's your most frequent thought? Really? Because think of it, if you apologize for everything, aren't you just a giant apology? Is that what you want to be? Who don't you want to be? I think that's a good question to ask. Are you exhausting yourself by doing this? Have you not had enough? There are countless people who were so depressed and had the worst anxiety, but they turned out more than fine because they found other good people with good mindsets and good intentions, people who don't apologize for spilling the milk or breaking the pencils or dropping the fork or yelling at someone or crying in the middle of class. It's like we think there's no upside. But what if you could create one? What if you kind of just focus so much on upsides that it kind of replaced the downsides? It's like the downsides aren't even there. I remember telling someone once that it's easy to forget about small things when you're busy moving on to bigger ones. Have you ever thought about the size of the things that you say sorry for? There's a quote that completely changed my life. It's a total game changer. I hope you guys are ready for this. The size of a man is the size of his problems. And some people might not get that. I feel like it can be a little confusing. You see, it takes the focus off of how exhausting it is to say,
Oh, I messed up. Oh, I'm sorry.
and it puts it on how big do you want to be, which is so much more exciting and has nothing to do with that. And if it does in a completely different way than what you're used to. If you're bigger, not physically or anything, but psychologically, maturely, emotionally, if you're bigger, I can guarantee you don't feel as bad about these things. How much do you not want to feel the way you do? Who do you not want to be? Because the size of what you say sorry for right now might say a lot about that in comparison to how you feel about yourself now. So the size of a man is the size of his problems, right? Obviously the size of a woman too. Or girl. Or shit, lots of people who don't classify themselves as either. Again, I have no idea who the fuck watches these videos. I don't genuinely mean to offend anyone who wants to care about themselves and a lot of other people. That would be counterintuitive. If someone's not straight, for some reason I find that inspiring. I mean, I'm straight, and a lot of people tell me I talk too fast in these videos, but there's a gay YouTuber named James Charles who probably talks faster than I do, and he has 15 million subscribers. So if he can do it, maybe I can too. I think I messed up. If you or anyone thinks you messed up, you probably didn't. Cause hey man, you don't know, you just think. And how's that a bad thing? Maybe the way I look at these things sounds a little different and skewed, and it's like,
Sam, you don't fucking get it. You were never addicted to heroin and meth and LSD all at the same time. You were never transgender and bullied in school over not your sexual preference, but because you liked to eat your own hair for lunch. You never had a friend who committed suicide because their mom and dad and brother and sister and cousin all did at the same time, holding hands, jumping off the Lehigh Valley Route 22 bridge in bunny costumes, and they heard about it on the news and did it out of peer pressure because they were jealous but they were too scared to admit it.
But I've been depressed, and I've had plenty of anxiety attacks. I still get them to this day, although it's stupid rare. I've self-harmed. I'm now over 5 years clean. Not to brag, but, yay me. If you have self-harmed, by the way, please pause the video and tell me how long it's been in the comments. Not to feel bad about yourselves, but if someone out there has been through similar things and they commented on it too, maybe you can relate to them. I'd love to know more about you guys. But anyways, I've seen things and I've talked to people and I've heard of things, and is that not enough for even some of this to kind of make sense? Please no. Man, is any of this shit really that bad? You have so much energy. If you're a teenager, oh my gosh, you guys probably have more energy than I do, believe it or not. You probably have more energy than you think. But what are you putting it into? Is that shit really worth
Your energy?
Are you not the shit? If you think so, what if you were the shit? Would you put your energy into the same things? If not, what would you put them into that is not what you're putting them into now? Sometimes you gotta just take a deep breath for one moment. As hard as that sounds, I mean, it's possible. Chances are you've done it before, and you just gotta take a step back and look at yourself and life situation a little differently, even for a second. Here's one way to do that. If you want to know more, I'm gonna drop some more videos soon on how to do this, but instead of asking, could it get any worse? Have you ever tried asking, could it get any better? Because, well, Could it? If you're wondering if it could get any worse, chances are it already fucking sucks. I've been there too. So if you ask how it could get any better, maybe it could also get better. And that alone expands the possibility of it happening. Does it not? On a weird level that I can't exactly explain because I've done research on it, but obviously not enough. When you expand the possibility of it getting better just by thinking it can, you open yourself up to literally an entirely different world that nobody is in around you. And it's a world of a difference. Literally. Really? It's like a difference between a normal movie and a 3D movie, or even a 4D movie. I guess it's up to you. Where you see things clearly like you never did before. And fucking sober too. You don't need drugs to do this shit. You really don't. And I'm not saying that as like some super anti-drugs person. It was easier for me to just stop doing drugs because I learned more, obviously, and started thinking about and trying things like this. There's a lot of beautiful things we don't seem to open ourselves up to at first when we're in a state that stops us from wanting to. So what makes you guys depressed? You know, what haven't you tried? What could you be looking at a little differently? I hope this video has somehow changed your most frequent thoughts for the better. But let me know what you guys think, and also let me know if you guys have any ideas you want me to talk about in future videos, and I'll give you a shout out if and when I use them. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up. There are links at the bottom of the description on all my social media. Make sure to leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. If you could turn on that little bell to receive a notification every time I drop a new video, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.